Hello and welcome to the final project presentation for the Shneiderman Group for HCI 522. It is entitled Usability Evaluation of an Industrial Infrastructure Security Command and Control Interface. The group team members were Brian Bobo, Sean Broyhill, Colleen Dolphin, and Carl Thunberg. Just a brief summary of what the overall project entailed was that we conducted a usability evaluation of an industrial infrastructure security command and control interface. Our evaluation included both expert reviews and live user testing. A brief introduction, Falcon Reach was a software product that we conducted this study with, and it is a software product that has an operational concept to provide a security surveillance situational awareness interface for a large industrial site. Our overall focus for this usability study was to provide more of a qualitative evaluation versus a quantitative evaluation. The primary research question that we wanted to have answered with this study was to see what improvements could be made to the Falcon Reach software interface that will allow the end user to more effectively interact with the system. The sample population that we had, the Falcon Reach application has a very specific set of goals. It is not intended for the general population and was created for a very discrete purpose. Since it's not possible to recruit participants who fit the exact mold of an intended user, we selected previous users of similar software applications out there. Out of all the participants that we could find, only 3 qualified participants were willing to work on their own time. And 2 of those 3 volunteers were actually able to participate in the time window that we had available for the evaluation. The methodology we used. The evaluation of the Falcon Reach interface was accomplished with 2 evaluation approaches to provide for the maximum amount of constructive feedback for the designers of the application. The first was a heuristic inspection conducted by 2 of the team members. The second method was a usability evaluation conducted by a 3rd team member using conventional task performance to assess usability and a questionnaire to rate participant satisfaction with the interface design. For the heuristic evaluation, 2 of the team members conducted their own separate heuristic evaluations remotely using Falcon Reach screenshots as well as audio and video captures provided by the on-site teammate. They used the heuristics originally proposed by Nielsen and Molich in 1990 and then later further refined by Nielsen. We also used a task completion impact schema to prioritize usability issues as either high, medium, or low impact. Identified many similar issues as well as dissimilar issues. Several were corroborated by users during live testing. We also conducted usability testing. A usability evaluation of the Falcon Reach interface was the initial intent for the research project and required a significant amount of time and effort. The following stages of usability testing were as follows. We developed a test plan, set up the test environment, went through the selection process to find and select participants. We prepared test material, conducted the actual test sessions, debriefed the participants, analyzed the data from the test sessions and observations, and then reporting the findings and recommendations. For the test plan development, the development of the Falcon Reach test plan was conducted to present to the project sponsor for approval. The primary purpose was to provide feedback to the developers who were working on the software's first version. Project objectives were identified and improved usability, design, and user satisfaction, and to bolster the operational concept for the designers. Access to the Falcon Reach mockup was granted to the principal investigator for the usability evaluation. The centerpiece of the test setup was a laptop connected to the Falcon Reach application on a separate test server. The application consisted of 4 primary windows. A video representation displayed from an electro-optical infrared turret-based camera, a points window which listed points of interest with specific details, a map application which displayed own location as well as various points of interest to the user, and an alerts window which provided 2 separate purposes. First, an information-only chat methodology, as well as a means to create alerts for all subscribers to the system. Here is an image that kind of gives you a basic idea of how the Falcon Reach ConOps system works, where you have the aerostat there with the radar and the infrared EO transmitting there, and then we have the Falcon Reach Command Center in the center of it all, connecting with a 4G tower, which is then connected to remotely to security forces with 4G as well. So all this information is being centralized into the Falcon Reach ConOps there for informational details with points of interest, alert settings, and the map. Here's a second image that shows what the test environment appeared to the test users. As you can see, we have a map available there. We have the sensor video that came from that sensor system. It's important to note, though, that we did not use any actual live sensors. This was just simply a test of the software system. We also have the points list in the lower left corner, and the alerts window in the upper right corner, where alerts could be set as well as seen. For the participant selection, access to appropriate usability test participants was very limited. The principal investigator for the usability evaluation inquired within the work environment for individuals who had experience with mission-type software that would be available during the 2-week time frame according to the project plan and would be willing to volunteer for the project. There were 3 total participants. However, only 2 were able to meet within the 2-week time frame, so therefore we chose the 2 participants that met the criteria and were able to fit within that time frame. The test material was then created. A script was created to reduce any variation between participant performances. It was made clear that it was the interface which was under evaluation, not the participant's individual performance. The overall methodology for the evaluation was discussed, followed by a brief description of the Falcon Reach interface to include the HMI input devices, such as laptop, mouse, and hand controller for simulated camera panning and zooming. The pre-brief was also explained the usage of the Think Aloud protocol, where while the participants were conducting the test, they were asked to think out loud as to what they were thinking while performing the particular tasks. If for some reason it seemed like they were getting quiet, cards were presented to just prompt them to keep thinking out loud. A screen capture program was employed to not only capture the laptop screen, but also to record the participant's voice using a headset so we could follow their thinking aloud process. They were also instructed to introduce the scenario, and once they had completed it, they should state "end scenario." The investigator remained a silent observer and only provided assistance when the participant was clearly stumped and was unable to move forward with task performance and had become frustrated with the task. After the first set of scenarios, the participant was given a 15-minute break, followed by 15 minutes of free play with the interface to explore its capabilities. After this period of time, the same exact set of 3 scenarios was executed. At the conclusion of the task execution sequences, the participant was provided with a questionnaire to complete. Here's just an image showing a participant performing the tasks at hand. As you can see, the system that was performed on a laptop. The questionnaire usability questionnaire. The participants, both user 1 and user 2, completed a questionnaire after performing the usability test. Both participants were similar in that they had over 200 hours of mission software experience. User 1 had some past experience with a similar software application. However, user 2's experience lied with a different type of software. Participants used a Likert scale to express how successful they perceived their task completion. Out of the 23 questions on the questionnaire, there were 8 that the participants both scored the same. For the analysis portion, and to analyze the recordings of each user, several methods were used. The first test included recording the amount of time required to perform tasks by each user. The second procedure that was used analyzed the screen captures to identify specific tasks or areas that appeared to create difficulty for both test users. There were 2 primary areas that increased the difficulty for users, in particular, the unawareness of task or subtask completion and the alert system. The main point at which users appeared to be unaware of their completion of tasks were when icons on their map would change colors to indicate completion. During the analysis period, it was also noted that several limitations of the software application were presented, which included the inability to elevate or add additional data to alerts. Users consistently associated alerts to other items within the application, and therefore they expected to have the ability to modify the alert as they could with the other items within the application. This caused the task completion time and number of errors to increase significantly during this portion of the test. The findings and conclusions of the study, we really needed to answer 2 key questions. First was the core question of this study, which was what improvements could be made to the Falcon Reach software interface that will allow the end user to more effectively interact with the system. And did this usability study effectively provide an answer to that question? We created effective task scenarios, heuristic inspections, and usability evaluations. And by creating them effectively, it proved effective in helping answer the primary question for this study. The heuristic inspection and screen capture data did demonstrate several key areas for improvement that can be passed on to the developers of the application. The user evaluation forms that helped rate the user satisfaction of the Falcon Reach project also verified many of the difficulties that were apparent in the screen capture analysis. It's therefore clear that this usability study did effectively answer the core question of providing insight into improvements that would prove to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of interacting with the Falcon Reach software. In conducting this usability study, we were also provided insight into further methods and protocols that should be included should future studies be conducted on the Falcon Reach project, and if the evaluation team would continue to have geographic difficulties that persisted in this current usability study. That concludes this presentation, and I want to thank you for your time.